certainly try. So I was going to ask you, tell me a little bit about Helicopter Mom.
Tell you a little about, okay, Helicopter Mom. Helicopter Mom's a movie primarily about this kid who's a senior in high school who has had no sexual experience whatsoever. It has a mother who is kind of running the kind of mother that are mothers that are running rampant in our society, hovering around their children, all up in every bit of their business, because there's so much fear about the society at large. You can't let them go out. You can't let them children, experience anything that the mother doesn't monitor, and it seems like a lot of that's going on in this society.
Yeah, it's a big statement, but it's actually kind of a reality at the same time too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it has I saw the trailer. I haven't had a chance to see it yet, but it looked lighthearted.
Yeah, so no wonder you want me to tell you about it. Yeah.
No, I fully admit.
I got you. Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to even send us a copy yet.
Wow.
But it's lighthearted is how the trailer comes across.
No. Serious stuff.
Serious stuff.
Really serious stuff.
It's true.
I mean, the result of this hovering mother is it. I mean, okay, it's a comedy because it has a happy ending.
I understand. And
that's what a comedy is, actually. A comedy is a story that has a happy ending. It's not just a succession of jokes that many people call a comedy these days. That's what a lot of people call a comedy. That is just a movie where there's just one and a half joke after another. Yeah. And that's not really that. You go back to the Shakespearean or the actual classical meaning of the word comedy, and this definitely fits into that.
That makes sense.
Category.
Like even Twelfth Night was labeled a comedy, but it's a very serious undertone to it with gender roles and how people are presented in different ways.
It's a comedy in the classic sense is a story with a happy ending.
Makes sense. That's wonderful, though. I think that's powerful. I see how they have to kind of promote it in a certain way, but I think that's you pigeonhole it into a different genre than it needs to be when it has like a true undertone and meaning to it that you can really learn something.
But I'm trying, that's what I'm trying to say. A comedy is not a story that is just a succession of jokes. Mm-hmm. That is what the modern concept of what a comedy is, but that isn't what a comedy is. That's just a bad movie.
I actually have to agree with you on that one. I really do. I like films that make you think and that give you a message from it. And so I really do look forward to seeing this, because now that you've told me that, I think...
Well, I'm the big boo guy in the movie because I'm like the father that actually was pushed out of the relationship by the hovering mother. Okay. Because you get the feeling that I'm a rock singer in a rock band whose fortunes have sort of faded. He does casinos now and stuff like that, but there's a lot of good bands doing casinos these days. Mm-hmm. But he was kind of, because of what she saw as negative influence, he was kind of pushed out of the scene mm-hmm. for 10 years, and now he's come back to try and make amends.
Absolutely. So there's real repercussions to these type of things. So that's really interesting. I love that. But, speaking of film, now what made you pick this role specifically?
Because the script was really good. The script had this kind of, the helicopter mom aspect, the hovering mother, I think is a huge issue in today's society that needs to be kind of explored mm-hmm. By the society at large, and then there's this issue in here is the kid is just, he's like what's up with, why do I have to choose between, am I gay or straight or what, who's, that's for me to know, and for, just why, because his mother's kind of sort of pushing him toward homosexuality, and when he has no idea what he is.
Yeah, so it's
that's
finding
what's
that
in the movie.
Yeah, that's very cool. Well, not being pushed to an identity, but discovering the identity for yourself.
Yeah.
On your own accord.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. So a little bit, and I'll go and delve into this a little bit. So you spent many years in a role with Sons of Anarchy. What's the difference between transitioning from something like that to a film, for instance?
Well, I've also done about 130 movies, so it's not like I never did television until I only did, like, I don't know how many guest stars on television before I did the Sons of Anarchy, but I was pretty adamant about not doing television. But now it's really the only game in town. Television, you can't make a living anymore doing movies unless you want to do superhero movies. And I don't think I'm going to be the next superhero.
Oh, you never know. You could
never know. Never know.
You'd be your own superhero.
Yes, that's exactly. I would be my own if I were to do a superhero.
That's the only way to go. I love that. Now, speaking of your filmography, you've worked with some really amazing directors, including Salome, of course.
Is that your?
Yes, I love
you've
Carpenter.
decided.
I love Nolan. I love
Okay.
Fincher.
Uh-huh.
So I was going to ask for a director. Like, what's the connection between actor and director that you look for specifically?
I mean, I think that actually directors have the two most important things is casting. Mm-hmm. You get a good script, you cast the movie the way you want to cast it, and then you worry about transitions. And that's, if you cast the movie the way then it's a director is going to have an easy time of it.
So and this is dialing it all the way back, but what got you most interested in acting?
Money. No, I'm kidding. I didn't make any money for many, many, many years, and still, like I say, I still do. I mean, this movie, if I told you how much I made on this movie doing Helicopter Mom, you might cry. Really. I mean, really. So it's not a matter of money. I got started I wrote and produced and did a lot of theater in New York. That's how I got started. So I did that with first a guy named Tom Wright, and then I did it with a guy named Steve Buscemi. We were partners for 8 years in New York.
Very nice.
So I guess I thought, wow, maybe I have something to say. I don't know. I don't know if I've said anything yet, but I know I've spoken a lot of words.
Well, I think that's really interesting. I have a lot of respect for actors and the roles they choose and understanding why they choose a role, because I really respect the art community and making those choices that really speak to, your resume or really an expression of the human condition, those kind of things. Going back to theater, is there a particular play or playwright that you really love?
Oh, well, I mean, I hung out with Tennessee Williams a couple of times. He was quite something. He had the sharpest wit I've ever, well, maybe not excluding two of my partners. They were pretty sharp-witted creatures also. But he was something else. I got to meet him through Jane Lawrence Smith, who was the mother of someone I was seeing at the time, and she was an inspiration for Blanche. She had known Tennessee since 1932 or something.
Wow.
And she is part of his inspiration for Blanche.
Oh, yeah.
Dubois.
Blanche Dubois. I love it.
Yeah.
From
I
Glass
just met a
Menagerie.
Dubois. met a Dubois in Canada. You know, they're kind of a strong arm family, the Dubois,
Well, yeah.
up in Canada there.
I love that. I love theater and everything behind that. So on the set of Helicopter Mom, for instance, was there did everyone devote mostly to the script, or was there any improvisation, anything like that?
There was a lot of improvisation on Nia's part, I noticed, but I don't think a whole lot of it made it into the movie.
That's a shame.
Well, it's just the script I thought was, like I say, that's why I do the movies that I do. Generally speaking, it's the script. It's not that easy to find material that's good, actually. So that's why I did the script. I thought it was a very tight little script that kind of in a very subtle and very gentle manner handled that particularly the subject of a teenager trying to figure out what the world of sexuality. I mean, I think it really I think that's most of the appeal of this movie.
Absolutely.
is that aspect of it.
And I think that's an important message too. I completely agree. Just being able to find your individuality and not let anyone, no matter who they are, and it's hard if it's a family member too, kind of pushing that identity on
It's
you.
very hard if it's your mother, like,
Yeah.
you know, really getting all up in there and trying to arrange dates for you, but that's what goes on in this movie.
I understand. I was going to ask too, for future roles, is there any particular role or script that you look to be a part of, or something you've thought about, a character you really wanted to embody?
I've got a lot of things I want to do. Yeah.
Very cool. Any things you like to share?
Well, I'm trying myself to get to the place where I'm making the movies. Being very involved with making the movies. I've kind of had enough of sitting around waiting for. Not that I sit around and wait for people to give me stuff to do, but the 7 years that I took out of my life to be in the Sons of Anarchy, which turned into kind of a full-time somehow, even though we only worked like 6.5, 7 months or something a year. It was very difficult to, just mostly actually because of the timing of when we shot it and stuff. It was very difficult to get things off the ground. And when I started, when I got hired to be in the Sons of Anarchy, I had just finished a script that I really wanted to direct, and that I'd spent 3 years writing with somebody, and that just never got off the ground. And I have all these other projects that I really want to pursue.
Well, maybe someday.
No, not maybe someday, like tomorrow, maybe.
Yes, I will. Definitely. Well, I know you worked with Brittany Murphy and Spun. You were the executive producer, is that correct?
I was. I optioned that movie to direct it, actually, and I kind of kept it alive for about 5 years before I surrendered my actual desire to, because I thought I was going to direct another movie, which also never got off the ground. But so I came up mostly. I kind of came up with the idea for Mickey Rourke to be the cook, and that's kind of started revamped his career, actually, because he had like 6-7 years where he couldn't get bonded.
Yeah, I understand.
And his career took off again after that movie.
And again, I do have a lot of respect for actors who have that kind of fluctuation in career, but they find the roles they really want to.
Well, no, Mickey would just, nobody would bond him, so he couldn't get hired.
But I love The Wrestler too for him, and then
Yeah,
his
but
other
that
project.
came after Spun. He couldn't get hired, and then he did Spun, and he started to get hired again. They bonded him again.
Absolutely. Well, I'm hoping tomorrow getting your script out there, because just by talking to you, I already know it's really powerful. Whatever it is, it's going to have a message to it. So
Oh, the script that well, that was a movie about Hawaii. It's kind of a yeah. That's just one of many movies that I don't even think I have a part in that movie to do. But
as long as your vision is realized too, putting the good stuff out there. But I know you have another interview to get to, so I don't want to keep you too much longer.
all right, okay.
But any final words for Helicopter Mom and getting us everyone out there to see it too?
Well, I think I've talked about the important things that the moms, give your kids the room to find themselves. How's that?
That's
Is that
perfect. No, that's perfect. And it's duly noted. Thank you so much, Boone. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.